Jessica's been holding on a long time. Jessica, go ahead and ask your question to Noble McIntyre.
Okay, so my mom, obviously she's older, and we were doing those Ancestry DNA kits, and she filled it out and sent her sample in, and we got back a hit from a sibling. It said she was a sister. And my mom always kind of thought that, you know, her dad growing up wasn't good dad, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. And so she kind of reached out. We did a little bit of research and found out who he was. And he's from another state. The problem, though, is that apparently he has been married longer than my mother's been alive. So we kind of inadvertently rocked this whole family who didn't know that their dad had, I guess, basically cheated on his wife in the 60s.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and so we kind of reached out because his wife has passed, like, if his wife hadn't passed away, like, we probably would have waited, but his wife had passed away, so my mom reached out, and it was not pleasant. They were very cruel and just mean about it, and I don't understand why I have a feeling that it's because he's worth money that we got that reaction, which is upsetting because we don't care about that. We are fine whether, you know, with or without him. We're still fine. And it was really upsetting, their reactions. I even tried to call him myself, and I was like, I'm your granddaughter. Like, I just want to have a conversation with you. And he literally told me, he was like, we have nothing to talk about. And he hung up on me. And I'm like, why would you act like that? Like, I understand that you didn't know about her, but my mother had a horrible childhood. And I understand he didn't know about her, and there's nothing he can do about that. But you know about her now. And I don't want to make this about money, but they made it about money. Because I just have a feeling that the only reason we got that reaction is because they think that we're coming after his money. And I told my mom, I said, we can either prove them right or we can prove them wrong. Either way, they're going to think that we're only after money, and so you might as well get something out of it if we can, if that's possible. I don't know, and I've tried to contact attorneys, and I don't know where to even start because he lives in another state and my mother lives in Texas. So we don't know where to go or who to turn to.
Wow,
if we can.
Is there a money situation here? I mean, because that's what I'm wondering is, do they have a? I mean,
well,
they're
alive, I don't. So the father is still alive. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, the father is alive. Like, as far as a money situation, like, what do you mean?
So there's two money aspects here in play. Okay, first of all, this ancestry DNA. This is not the first time this has happened that people find out that they have a sibling somewhere that nobody knew about. The two money avenues in this case are this: your mother actually has, I don't know what the statute of limitations on this is, but a claim for child support for all of those years in which he did not provide support. So 18 years of child support with accrued interest is likely an actionable cause of action that your mother could bring against him while he's alive.
100%.
So that is the claim for the
Janet's
mother.
very excited.
Yes, she is.
Oh, you were rude to me?
Yeah.
Let's bring this up.
And so he has, because everybody who fathers a child has a financial obligation to that child, whether you raise them or not, and whether you knew about them or not. So if it comes forward at this point, and again, it's going to come down to statute of limitations, but there's a potential cause of action there. As far as the claim against the value of his estate or money that he has, the daughter, his child, now has a claim against that at the time of his death. Now, can he go into his will and specifically write that person out? Yes, he can, since he's alive. If he had died and that person had not been specifically omitted in the will, that person, your sister, could have come and made a claim. The family would obviously contest that. They wouldn't be very successful because she is a blood heir. But as myself, I see her today. I have 3 children that are mine. If I wanted to write a will that excluded them from anything that I have and give all of my money to my wife or all of my money to doggy rescue something, I could do that. I could exclude blood children. He can do the same thing now that he knows about her, and my guess is that will now happen, although people sometimes make poor decisions. He may not even be consulting his lawyer about an issue like that. You won't know until the time of his death. The cause of action you have right now is a potential cause of action for back child support, and it would be one big number because think of all that accrued interest.
Who does she contact? The state he's in?
Yeah, it would go through the state he's in. Probably there's 2 people to contact. Probably a family law lawyer who specializes in child support recovery collection, so a family law lawyer that does some of that. But then a wills and trust lawyer on the other side of it who may also have some avenue into the child support issue. If he was here in Oklahoma City, I've got some really good friends who do that kind of work. I know who to point to in Texas. I don't know. The cause of action would have to be brought in Texas. Although for child support, there's uniform child support laws that are enforced around the country regardless of what state you're in. So you could actually start here in Oklahoma with the child support division and ask questions. But is there an avenue for making a money claim? Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the right thing to do? I mean,
Hey,
if they had
should have
been
been nicer to
if they
me.
had been
Yeah,
nice,
that's true. If he would have been nicer, you wouldn't even be thinking of this, right,
if
Jessica?
they had been,
Not
but I'll
my
tell you,
fault.
Yeah.
but I'll tell you why he wasn't nice, because it just rocked his world, and
Yeah.
this was a secret he wanted to keep hidden his entire life,
Absolutely.
and now the boat has been rocked, and he's more concerned about himself.
Yep.
And his wife is probably in denial, and his kids are probably angry, and so they don't care about any of this. They care about themselves.
Well, guess what? I'm mad too because of what you did. You know, in your free time or whatever, that affected me my whole life, and I had this crummy childhood. Well,
Right.
guess what? That's not fair either.
Well, and it sounds like he's got a person of means, and that if he had done what he was supposed to do, take care of his responsibilities,
Her
it would
life
have been
would have been
different.
different.
That being said, look at it from his perspective. He may not have even known that you're getting a here, but it's possible he might not even have known that there was a child out there all those years.
Sure.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's understandable, and that's kind of where we were coming from. Like, he probably had no idea, but you know now. And, you know, I was talking to my dad, and he was like, you know, what if someone was coming after me? And I was like, well, we're not going after anyone. She just wanted to talk to him because apparently we're like, she's 50% Italian. Like, she's literally half Italian, and there's just so much culture. There's things about family, like just knowing where we come from, and he's cutting us out of all of that. Like I said, the money, we could take it or leave it. Like, we didn't care. I told my mom over and over, I said, if you're going into this with the expectations of money, you might as well just let that go, because we were fine before and we'll be fine after, regardless of that situation. But they want to make it about money. So, like I said, if you want to make it about money, we can make it about money. So,
Yeah,
I mean...
I understand your sentiment, and I understand being upset, and it turns from I want to find out more about my background, my history, my family, into more of a, well, if that's how you're going to be with me, that's how I'll be with you. And I get that. I would caution against that because you start down a path that's fraught with a lot of Janet's over here disagreeing with everything I say.
Just saying.
But you know, you certainly have leverage at this point. You can, if what you truly want is to sit down and have a conversation and get to know him and know more about the background, you can leverage the money issue by saying, look, we'll pursue this money angle if you force us to. But if you'll just sit down with us and have a conversation, we'll voluntarily waive all that. We just want to get to know our background. Janet's literally rolling her eyes at me.
I am.
But
No, you should have been nicer when I called you.